is leaking value. All right, TRVL. So first things first, TRVL. Let's have a look at yesterday's weekly close. I'm going to quickly have a look at all the exchanges just to see if there's any significant divergence. We had on MEX, we had a red weekly candle. Let me pull up the volume. A really strong volume. And that was perfectly timed on fib time, higher time frame fib time. You see that? You see it kind of. So I think the pivot, this is the pivot now. This weekly candle is the pivot. You have a very strong reaction from this higher time frame fib level, which is, if I change this to the 236, it came back to test the 236, got a reaction, really strong reaction. That's a bullish reaction. Now the price is moving up a little bit. Let me just have a look at the other exchanges to see if the weekly candles are similar. This is Gate. It's a green candle on Gate. Price is moving up from that candle. On KuCoin, it was a green candle behind this teacup idea. And Bybit is green. Bybit is the most bullish of all the charts at the moment. Look at that volume. Volume is outstanding. In last week, we had 16 million tokens worth of value being transacted on Bybit, and the price closed back above the previous week close. So that's a really bullish reaction on the weekly time frame. The volume is the clue. Yeah, you have increasing value, increasing volume. See that? That's bullish. That's what you want to see. You want to see the price go up. You want to see the volume increase. Okay, so as long as that continues, that behavior continues, then we're probably looking for higher prices. This morning I was buying like crazy. Do you see this? All of this? This is me. Because I could see that the price, as it came down, it was pretty much exhausted. You can see the volume was decreasing, the price was going down. That's pretty bullish. I saw these buying tails on these lows. I just bought, no hesitation, and the price is now kind of moving up. Not a problem. So we're still correcting, I think. 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A. Could this be a B? Let's see how far this B goes for a C. Get an A, B, C, and then hopefully, maybe when something to do with Bitcoin, then we can break out. Let's see what happens. The monthly candle is closing next Sunday, So this is the current monthly candle, and increasing volume, increasing prices. That's what you want to see. This is on Bybit. The other exchange which has high volume is KuCoin. So you can see in the last month, or the current month, we've had $52 million TRVL traded, and the price is up. When you look at the weekly time frame, even though arguably you could say it's decreasing volume, the reality is this was just one person market buying, so it's a bit skewed. I think on average it's increasing volume. Yeah, when you look at the average, and you can see actually now the price has reacted. It's a good reaction. It's quite heavy volume. It's 33 million in the previous week. That's really good. It's a really strong reaction from this 236. So in my mind, this is a really strong level. Probably I'm thinking it's still kind of intact with my Wyckoff accumulation schematic, and also my my Adam and Eve bottom pattern, which is a V followed by a rounding bottom. So that's the V, and this is the rounding bottom. Okay, and to confirm this pattern, we'll need to break the neckline and then back test it for support for continuation. Okay, now let's see what happens. Does it hold the neckline as support? Does it go a little bit lower back into this 382? We don't know quite yet how this is going to play out. In either case, if you look at this Wyckoff accumulation schematic, you can see that this LPS, if I zoom in on the 3-day chart, bring this across a little bit, you can see, well, maybe the daily chart will be easier to see. Possibly. Well, anyway, I'll pull this across so you can see. My idea of the LPS stands for lowest point of support. And if we had a spring here, this is our spring. That was our test. You have this kind of zigzag idea there. And then we have this LPS, which is the lowest point of support. It's gone up and it's come down, tested the support. And what I'm now expecting is the SOS, the sign of strength. The sign of strength, could it do that? That would be a sign of strength. And then we're in a correction for consolidation underneath the golden pocket. That would be a Wyckoff schematic playing out. Okay, and then no one can predict the correction. No one can tell. I can't tell you that the correction is going to look like this. I would like it to look like this, because I think once we get above the buy up, you have the last point of support. We just have to see where the last point of support is. Do we go up, find resistance on 17, find support somewhere, maybe a 14 or even lower, and then have a nice final impulse up into the golden pocket? That will be your sign of strength, and then we can have a correction. That's what I'm contemplating now. But everything looks good. I can't see any weakness in TRVL at the moment. I can't see it. Can't see any weakness. Okay. even on the TRVL Bitcoin chart, I'm seeing a lot of strength. That's effectively what we're seeing here is a V-shaped recovery. See, that's a V-shape. So you're having a V-shaped recovery with look at the volume that came in on that V-shape. That's a really strong, powerful V-shaped recovery with increase in volume. So this is the Bitcoin chart. Yeah, I can't see weakness right now. So let's see what's going on with ETH. Yeah, pretty much the same thing. This is another V-shape. It's a V-shape. So is it a good time to buy? Yeah, it's a good time to buy. We've had a daily red candle. And when you look in the red candle, let me go back to Bybit. Actually, I prefer it right now. I think Bybit is slightly more accurate. You can see that the daily candle closed above this previous daily level. That's what I was looking at, actually. And that's why I bought this morning. And you see that? It was a perfect test. And not only did you have that previous daily level, you had this daily, you have like almost 2 daily levels together. It was a pretty good area for the price to come back and hold the support for this bounce that we're experiencing now. Yeah, see that? So I was looking today, this morning, and I saw that we were holding a support. I was seeing these buying tails, and I just bought. I just bought a lot this morning. How much did I buy? Here the volume says 594. That was, yeah, I think I bought about 200,000 tokens this morning, something like that. And that's what you got to be aware of this. Like, people are selling, but anyone who's bullish is going to be buying red candles. Yeah, red daily candles. That's in the context of a bull market, you have to be aware of that. The red candles are the ones to buy. Yeah, so if anyone has been buying red candles throughout the whole of this rise from the all-time low to the current price action, it'd be very easy to dollar cost average in on all these red candles. The other thing that's really interesting is when you look at the 3-day chart and you're looking at the simple moving averages, what do you see? This is the 3-day chart, and look at that. What is that? Does anyone know? Do I have to really zoom in? I'm gonna like really magnify it just to make my point. What do you see there? That's a golden cross. So we're into a golden cross on the 3-day chart. We've had a really bullish reaction on the weekly time frame. We're seeing a nice V-shaped recovery into this higher time frame support with a golden cross on the 3-day time frame. The trend continues. The trend has changed and the trend continues now. So we're clearly in a really nice uptrend, and hopefully we can make higher prices and the uptrend continues. Okay, so this is looking really good. It's really looking really strong. We still have a key level to break. That's 9 cents. Yes, Ali, golden cross. How amazing is that? We still have 9 cents to break, but we've tested it a few times now. It's gonna break. Eventually it will break. Yeah, eventually it will break. I don't necessarily think this 382 is gonna hold as resistance. I mean, it would probably just push right up if it breaks. Let's see. There is some volume resistance in this mini range, so let's not be naive about the price. The price can always find resistance in previous levels, and it's not crazy volume up there. Let's see. Let's see what happens. If it I think if it breaks, you're gonna have, it's gonna be a bit of a snap, you know, once it breaks 9 cents. Pretty snappy. Be nice if we get above 3.82, about 10.4 cents, back test it for support for continuation up to 17.5. That would be nice. That will be a higher high on the weekly time frame. That's the first indication of a weekly time frame market structure change to bullish. And maybe then if we back test, potentially you could back test this previous range value area high, or even as low as the 382. See how bullish it is. We keep that. We'll keep that level in mind, this previous range value area high, to see if we find support, find resistance, like does it just go through, and then does it come down to back test there, or does it go lower to back test there for continuation? Then the continuation, is it just going to go up, or are we just going to find resistance back into the 17 cent? Like, we don't know. No one can predict what's going to happen in the future, but I think it's really, I think everyone should be feeling good about their accumulation in this whole lower range, because even though right down here, like, I remember that someone was criticizing me on my YouTube channel because when we printed this red inverse hammer into the highs, I was saying it's bullish. And someone criticized me and said that's really bearish, and he probably exited, probably sold. And since someone said it was bearish and I said it was bullish, we are now 183% increase in value. So who was right? Was he right or was I right? I don't know. You decide. Someone said it was bearish and I said it was bullish, and I don't know, maybe I was right. Who knows? And then you had someone who was selling at 9 cents and 4 cents, 4.5 or 5 cents, and they criticized me, called me racial slurs, and they sold, they exited, and look where the price is now. You know, what can I say? You know, if people don't like my analysis, that's fine, but let's not be hostile. You know, it's all subjective. This weekly 50 moving average is turning. That's nice to see. So potentially in the future, this weekly average, if it starts to turn, then that will be a strong support. It will probably offer strong support in the future. We're not there yet because it's only just turning. As you can see, the weekly 50 is only just turning. It's at 3.7 cents. But depending on how the price ascends, this could start rallying quite fast. Warchild is saying his ego is wrong. Let me at him. That's funny. I think that's my TRVL update. I think the big news is that we've just achieved the golden cross on the 3-day chart. And let me give you context about a 3-day golden cross. If I go to Bitcoin, yeah, You see here the golden cross in Bitcoin on the 30th of July 23. The price of Bitcoin was 28,000. And since the 3-day golden cross on Bitcoin, the price, it dropped, but then the price is now 133% increase in value. So these golden crosses, you can't ignore them because people use them as key indicators for showing trend reversal and for bullishness. So when people are looking at TRVL and they are seeing that it's finally crossed, then their sentiment will no longer be bearish. They'll look at this downtrend, but then they'll see the golden cross, and now they'll be thinking, okay, now the trend has changed. Now they'll be thinking bullish. They won't be thinking bearish anymore until they see a death cross. And so I think this is really like, even if you can't, if you do, you're not trading the golden cross, but it is a powerful psychological idea that people do use for long-term accumulation. And it's amazing that the price is now at 8.45 cents and we've just crossed on the 3-day chart. So there's probably a lot more gain in this token in the future if this trend continues and if the momentum starts to pick up. I think if we see the price go up to the golden pocket, then the momentum is going to start and if we are able to just consolidate here, then we're going to have a really strong momentum for the next move. And like, I'm thinking higher. I'm really thinking higher. I'm thinking higher. The main reason why I'm thinking higher now than I previously anticipated is, let me show you. This is really important. I shared it in my stream yesterday, but I'll share it again now. Let me find the link. Can everyone see that? I shared it in my stream yesterday, but let me share it with you now. Not the advert. BlackRock's $10 trillion tokenization vision, the future of real-world assets. We are currently witnessing a digital transformation as traditional finance whatever. Leading the charge, BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager. Carlos Domingo, Securitize co-founder and CEO, remarked, today's, what the hell? Aims to tokenize $10 trillion of its assets in partnership with Securitize. What is that? Didn't click on that. BlackRock launches its first tokenized fund. Investors can subscribe through Securitize markets to participate in the fund. BlackRock invests in Securitize to drive transformation for digital assets infrastructure. It's a bit wordy, yeah, this article. But in a gist, what they're saying is that BlackRock are getting involved with real world asset tokenization, okay? And it's a $10 trillion tokenization vision. What does that mean? Well, we'll see, but maybe they're going to be tokenizing everything, probably stocks and shares to begin with, and then maybe other real world ideas. Real world assets has a very vast array of different real world assets that can be tokenized or digitized. Real estate tokenization, security tokens, that's for the stocks and shares. Utility tokens, that's kind of where Dtravel falls into a little bit, the utility side, because of what Dtravel is doing in terms of tokenizing travel. And the great thing about TRVL and Dtravel is that we have known Web3 competitors. Like, we're really leading the way in terms of the vision for the future. And I think probably in the future, Dtravel is going to be a big player in travel, in the travel industry when it comes to Web3 and tokenization of travel. So I'm getting more and more bullish about this. You know, when you get this kind of Wyckoff schematic idea, this whole Wyckoff schematic is the low. Yeah, this whole schematic is the low. And so I'll give you an example of a Wyckoff schematic so you understand the context of what I'm imagining. Let me go to Bitcoin. And I'm going to go to, I have to get rid of all these lines, huh? Give me a second. Get rid of all of these. Not really. You may not see it, but it's there. Let me pull it back to the daily time frame. Sorry, just give me a second. So if you go back to the last bull market, this whole summer crash is a Wyckoff accumulation schematic. Yeah. So let me just copy it across so I can show you. Let me bring the hell? Now this wasn't on a crazy higher time. It was a higher time frame, but it wasn't like TRVL. Okay, this schematic only panned out over a period of maybe 2 months, but the idea is the same. You have your PS, your SC here, SC here, your AR roughly there, your ST, you have this pivot put in, and you have the ST in phase B somewhere here. Then you have this kind of move like that. Then you have your spring. So I mean, Wyckoff accumulation schematics aren't always the same, and the idea is correct. So you had this Wyckoff accumulation schematic on that bull market, but mini bear market low, but in the last bull market. And then once you had this kind of explosion, you had this lowest point of support here. You had the buy up, you had the sign of strength, and this sign of strength, the correction was like this. Whereas this is horizontal. This correction was slightly deeper. That was your sign of strength. Getting into the last point of support somewhere, and then you had the explosion. You see that? That was the explosion. Double top and then crash. Okay, so when you're looking at this Wyckoff schematic, I mean, in terms of the time frame, you can see from the low to this peak to this low to this peak, it was about the same time. The timings were about the same. Let me just try and figure out the timings. See that? You see how it timed perfectly both of the peaks? So from this pivot here to this high to this low here, you timed the peak 1 and peak 2 perfectly. Okay, So you're basically looking at a 1-to-1 on time from the spring to the SOS just to get to your peak. We'll keep an eye on that because this is history can repeat itself. You're looking at different tokens, but we're in a Wyckoff accumulation right now, and you can see how the price can really expanded on Bitcoin. So I am expecting something like that on TRVL. After we do our SOS, we'll see what the correction is like, and potentially you're looking for another, is it a 1-to-1? This is Bitcoin, and you have to remember that low market cap altcoins are slightly different. It didn't get to a 1-to-1 on Bitcoin. On Bitcoin, we only got to 786. It wasn't actually a 1-to-1. But that's Bitcoin, you know, it's a high market cap, and it was basically after this crash. This is the wave 5, it's coming to the end of the market. The context is really important. You take that idea to TRVL, because we are forming a Wyckoff schematic on TRVL as well. And we haven't actually had our SOS. So I'll be interested to see where we put that peak in. Then maybe we can do some kind of fib time somewhere here, wherever we put this in. I don't know if this is correct, to the low here, and then it's going to give us some fib times, okay, for potentially where we hit the top. Now this is, I'm just making this up now because we don't know yet where we put in the peak, where we're making a low, but then we can try and time it right, okay? And that will be really important to try and time it right, because you're looking for some kind of similarity between from that to the timings, and maybe that's what's going to happen, similar to what Bitcoin did, and then we'll see. Okay, so I've got this Wyckoff accumulation schematic idea. As long as it continues playing out the way that I've imagined, and I'll be looking at other accumulation schematics and how they played out to see what I'll be expecting in terms of price targets, and also in terms of the timing. If you use that same idea for this trend base, I mean, Bitcoin only did 786, but I'm actually thinking all the way up to $5 personally. We go to $5, we back test the all-time high, and then we make a final push. And the wave 5, it all depends on Bitcoin. Okay, the wave 5 will all depend on Bitcoin, because it depends on how 4 corrects too. If you get like a deep correction like that, then you're probably looking for a weaker 5. If you get a flat 4 like that, a less steep 4, and it just holds the all-time high, then this will probably look to go much higher. Okay, so it really, when it comes to the end of the bull market, after we've put in our 3, it will all depend on 4, what happens to 5. Okay, and the flatter the correction, the higher the price target potential on the 5. The deeper the correction of 4, it will still be bullish, but only for those people who took profit and re-entered lower down, because they'll make the gains. But at the end of the day, the final price, it may only just, best case scenario, it may only just get back to the same place. And worst case scenario, you'll be looking just to come back into the golden pocket. Like, so we have to see how that plays out in the future. And this is just one idea of the future. There's, you know, there's different ideas of what could happen, and we just have to see. We just have to see how that plays out. Good morning, Craig. Yeah, Prop S. Oh my God. I should have just hodled. I had a trade plan for Prop S as well, and I didn't take it because I'm so bullish on TRVL. I'm an idiot, really. Been looking at Prop S for weeks, for months. All right, that's my TRVL update, and then I'm just going to have a look at some other stuff. Any questions? Feel free to message me. Feel free to comment on the video. Feel free to tweet, comment on the tweets. If you like this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up and maybe even a reshare. But, you know, it's up to you. Voigt is pumping. All right, so a few tokens are pumping. Let's have a look